I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. What do you want from us? Please. Oh, blimey, how do I start this one? I know that I said the next game would be more story focused, and that I'd be taking a break from Spider-Man games for the time being. However, boy, my intended next game turned out to be a whole thing. Like, a lot. Meanwhile, I started playing this game due to a combination of nostalgia, boredom, just because, and depression, which links back to that whole nostalgia bit. And now I record everything I play. So here's my accidental retrospective of Spider-Man 2000 on the PlayStation 1 and PC, and our brief commentary on the Game Boy port, which we watched on YouTube because birds. Spider-Man 2000 is just one of a few colloquial names for Spider-Man, such as Spider-Man 64 because, well, the game's just called Spider-Man. There's no number, no subtitle, but the 2000 suffix works online, so whatever. The game was developed by Neversoft. Anybody else look away from the screen as kids when their title card showed up? Or Treyarch, or LTI Grey Matter, or... Okay, so we are re-recording this because we just got frustrated at listing information. What matters is developed by Neversoft, published by Activision, released August 30th, 2000, bit later for other ports. That's it. And pretty much same again here about the staff in Neversoft. We need to work at making this section better, but we just haven't found a good way of doing it yet. We mentioned that from now on we will only talk about relevant members of developmental studios who are particularly stand out to us, such as Tommy Tallarico and Howard Uliate being the composers. There were a few kick-ass bass lines I picked up on, but I guess that's for a later section. I will also bring up lead designer Chad Finley, because he has expressed interest in a remaster for the game. Oh god, yes, please. But fuck licensing. Fucking licensing. There are so many great games that could be amazing without all this licensing and red tape shit. Anyway, the game got 3 sequels, sorta. I assume that most people are aware of Enter Electro, released in 2001. But there was a sequel to the Game Boy version called Spider-Man 2: The Sinister Six. And after Enter Electro, there was Mysterio's Menace for the Game Boy Advance. I'll probably leave this here for now. The game is still hugely popular, and there are a ton of videos out there that cover most aspects. I'm mostly doing this for fun, and because I played the sequel to death as a kid. In fact, I barely played this first one when young. Even with cheats, it was too difficult. Or too scary, and you know what we mean by that. Even being invincible cannot protect you from that. But I played the ever-loving shit out of the sequel, which is generally considered inferior. But you know what? I love revisiting things from my childhood to see how I feel about them now. For example, it's only been a few years since I properly played 2000, and I kinda developed a crush. And as I read this, I realize that sentence made no sense, but I'll continue anyway. Upon editing, we decided that it does make sense if you look at it from a different perspective. When we played it a few years ago, we were doing the revisit of a childhood game. We just never played the whole way through as a child. But if I'm going to do a video on the underrepresented Enter Electro, I might as well cover the first game for before that one. Okay, so Spider-Man 2000 isn't exactly a masterclass in storytelling. The twist might stay hidden to someone who knows zilch about Spider-Man lore, but anyone who believes both that Octavius has gone straight and that those tentacles we see, along with his distinctive voice, don't belong to the infamous Dr. Octopus, is a fucking dum-dum. Still, that's not really the point. The mystery is not the main appeal of the story. Although we are left to wonder what the end goal is, what is Rhino's deal, and why this one alleyway is protected from the smoke filling the streets. Oh, and that warehouse too. No, the mystery comes from, what is Octavius's plan? Who is this fake Spider-Man? Are they on the same side? And on the PC/Dreamcast version, what the holy fuck is wrong with Eddie's fingers? Let's open with a little bit of context. Ock is managing to fool the world into thinking that he's a good guy with his flashy new iPhone, wrong bad guy, with some new tech thing. That's about all we know about it. And all we really need to know about it. I'd like to know more, but it's not necessary to the plot. A fake Spidey shows up to pinch the device, breaks Eddie Brock's camera, and buggers off. Eddie goes full Venom, a phrase that in this version of a character might be a tad more literal than usual, given that Venom is clearly a second personality dominating him, not working alongside him. This makes Eddie into more of a victim than a villain.
Rest easy, Brock. Venom is here.
And might help explain why he doesn't seem to know Peter outside of a vague recollection. Actually, from what little I know of the condition, this version of Venom may actually work as a way to explore dissociative identity disorder, with Venom as an alter. And given that they clearly start off with a dysfunctional relationship, the ID treatment often revolves around encouraging the different alters to coexist peacefully, and even to fuse into a single self if the alters are willing. And I think I just found my story for this retrospective. Anyway, with a theft and a stolen identity to sort out, Spider-Man jumps straight into the hunt. No, he actually takes some time to hang out until he's interrupted by a bank robbery. Yeah, this first mission doesn't really help with the plot, and neither do the next few. It's not until we save Jameson from the Scorpion, and the grateful publisher points the police directly at us, do we begin to experience the fallout of that opening cutscene. Still, at least we get to see my sloth-faced best girl, Black Cat, a fair bit during the tutorial.
Hey, Black Cat, what's
She
going
just
on?
looks like a sloth. I love it.
I know there's been some.
We are pursued from building to building by police who are shockingly gung-ho about murdering Spider-Man, shooting up buildings, blowing up buildings, blowing up each other. Given this is based in America, there are two options. One, I severely underestimated the American sheer enthusiasm for guns. Or two, Otto Octavius has been spreading rumors that under the mask, Spider-Man is black. Oh, maybe there was a misunderstanding.
Don't you yahoos get it? The Black Spider-Man is unbeatable!
Popping into the Green Goblin's crane-top lair for resupply, we escape the Bobbies only to nearly splurge all over Felicia. We said nearly, and discover that Venom is on TV. Any remake needs to expand on Venom's antics between missions, because this version of the character is brilliant. And watching him kidnap MJ before breaking into his studio to live stream his
Venom Marathon.
like a tolerable version of Screwball to get our attention would be truly amazing. Oh yeah, he kidnapped our wife.
Problem. Venom's got control of the jumbotron.
But Rhino is wrecking shit at the Omnitech science building thing, and we need to handle him first. Felicia does offer to take him for us, but Peter immediately rejects the idea and is immediately proven right. Ooh, that sound when she gets hit always rubs us the wrong way, and has done since we were a kid. It just sounds so sharp and visceral. Rhino gets picked up by Otto, somehow getting the dark points of Pete. He's pretty naive in this version. And Felicia is taken off in an ambulance, except she cries out to Pete for help because the ambulance people are clearly imposters. Clearly imposters. And Pete just stands there, confused, naive, as fucking Carnage calls shotgun in the ambulance's cabin. Like, I get that he changed back to Pete to avoid causing a stir, and that would make going Spider to save her in that moment a tricky situation. But look at him. Dude's not weighing his options. He's just confused. His ex has just had her back blown out hard, been tossed into an ambulance with some dodgy looking guys, and a villain who's in the running for Spidey's arch nemesis, and he's just standing there, dick in hand, wondering what's for fucking dinner. Yeah. Story is not the strong point here. Whatever. With the injured Felicia safely in the hands of his enemies, well, they do need her alive to be a hostage. Pete buggers off to track down Venom, and there is a chase across and through the city.
Hey, that's the ladies' locker room, Venom.
This is a private spa.
Lady, put a towel on.
Hey, my eyes are closed.
Hey, nice biceps.
Thank you.
Wrapping up in this alleyway here, which should be filled with gas. And I didn't notice this for 30 fucking years until a YouTube comment pointed it out. I'm not an idiot, I swear. Anyway, this little scrap leads to a chase through the sewers, then the subway, then the sewers again, all the while shaking off a horde of the lizard's pawns. He was originally supposed to be a villain in the game, but was relegated to a brief cameo in the sewers, having had his ass beaten by Venom. He will appear in the sequel though. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. As much as we hate sewer sections, just fight and crawl and push your way through. Persevere through the train ride, or just turn invisible. That's cool too. And we have our final face-off against him. Yeah, he's pretty easy. You can goad him into spawning in specific areas after he turns invisible, so you can just pound him furiously before he's able to get on top, all while your wife watches with pride and just a little anxiety. We beat him into an epiphany, realizing that Eddie saw us in the crowd and so we're innocent. Venom pulls MJ up to safety and we team up. With Venom, not with MJ. Unfortunately, there is no cheat in this game that allows us to play as MJ, or Felicia for that matter, to engage in my favourite pastime of horrifying Christian mums with perfectly innocent content. Such a shame. Although, as I speak, as I think about it, someone, you'll probably find it in one of the linked videos, did create a tool that allows you to mix and match the various character models. So potentially, we actually could playing as or kicking MJ's ass as Felicia. If I could get the modding to work, I'd love to explore that option.
Place is gonna blow. I gotta get out of here.
Spider-Man and Venom head to the Bugle 2, and I quote, surf the web. That joke never dies. Unfortunately. Only Venom suddenly senses his other and buggers off for a bit of filicide, leaving Spidey to deal with symbiotes. What are symbiotes doing here? Without hosts, there is a lot that could be done in a remake. See, we need to rescue a few Bugle employees, but wouldn't it be cool if we had to hurry, or else one would be taken over and we had a mini-boss to deal with? And what if these symbiotes try to bond with us? But Spidey could use that to his advantage in some way,
won't forget
possibly
this.
turning them
Thank
into
you.
unique attacks. Obviously, it's a needed disadvantage. Like if you, let's call it, semi-bond with one, then you're fucking dead if another one gets you. And maybe it drains some health in order to perform this move. Encourage you to not use them, but you can at a risk. Could be great. Anyway, we fight our way to the basement of the Bugle, picking up flaming webbing, as we do, and stumble upon our fake. He leads us to a battle arena before revealing himself with a flash. Now, it would be fair to assume that this was the Chameleon, Spidey's first ever supervillain,
That's the guy who framed
albeit
me.
without
And the one
powers,
who
so
stole
not
the
really
technology.
super. But nope, it was Mysterio all along. Now exposed to Spider-Man, Mysterio gets enlarged, and we have to hit his various sensitive spots in order to make him shrink and get him all soft again. It might be worth mentioning that up until this point, I had managed to make it through the game without consciously holding the jump button for higher jumps. I forgot all about this mechanic and got stuck at the bottom while Mysterio stepped all over me. There's actually a really cool moment in this next cutscene where, after being told that the gas is, somehow, preparing New York for the symbiote invasion, Spidey is all,
Who's behind all
nobody can control the symbiotes! No one! And you can tell just how freaked out he is.
No one can control the symbiotes. No one! No one can control the symbiotes.
This Peter Parker was traumatized by the
Spare me the
symbiotes.
propaganda,
By the
okay?
way,
This isn't a
remember
game,
when I was
Mysterio.
explaining
Symbiotes
possible
will
mechanics for the
destroy everything in
symbiotes?
their path unless
Ever
I can
wonder
stop
why
them.
my autistic ass was okay messing with concepts such as semi-bonding and so on? Well, it's because of this and the symbiote generators. I don't know if they're making or breeding symbiotes, or transporting them here.
Symbiotes.
We assume the former. We assume, given the scrotumless testicles hanging there. And given that and the fog prepping people for bondage, I feel that we can have some creative fun with how they function. Heaven knows, I've had week-long fantasies about artificial symbiotes, and I fucking adore the idea. So I like to assume that they are flawed, that they need a little help, and that somebody experienced can totally abuse this power before they're able to get a proper grip on him. But whatever, that's not part of the story. And unfortunately, neither is why Mysterio and all these symbiotes are in the Daily Bugle in the first place. Like, it's not connected to the big boss's base, nor do they pursue us here as they were clearly already set up. They had all their furniture out and everything. They'd moved in. But Mysterio points us towards a warehouse. Ground level, also not submerged in fog. And I also missed this as a kid, and as an adult. We set a few symbiotes on fire, find a vent that leads down, 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 and find ourselves in an underwater base. Given the big bad is Doc Ock, and we're an underwater base, it's a major missed opportunity to never drop the Master Planner moniker. We rescue Black Cat, and she looks exhausted.
The guys in the ambulance must have drugged me because the next thing I knew I woke up here and I can't stop dancing.
And then we face off with Dr. Ox. Okay, fuck that. I literally mentioned this in the previous sentence. I don't know why I bothered to do this bit. He's teamed up with Carnage, who acts more like a pet than a serial murderer. But Venom takes him while we engage Doc in a less than exciting fight. Then we have to pick up Venom's slack and cook Namor, who might watch on as we fry Carnage. Nah, I ain't gonna do a fake house here. We all know about the legit terrifying monster Ock chase. But thankfully, Felicia got us an Uber and we fly off before the base explodes. Interesting point, just 1 year earlier, in 1999, a UK comic book had Carnage bond with our boy Otto to create Dr. Carnage. How cool is that? Check out the link downstairs for a video on it by FudgeBudger. And yes, that name weirds us out too for some reason. What is it about that name that's just so... I guess I should quickly discuss cameos and the what if mode before I move on. In what may be the only time ever, Neversoft was somehow given the opportunity to bring in various other Marvel characters, so we have a bunch of sick-ass cameos. For example, in the Race to the Bugle opening cutscene, you can spot Ghost Rider driving up a skyscraper. We can hop onto the Baxter building of Fantastic Four fame, and we'll even chill with the Human Torch in a couple of cutscenes. Daredevil will challenge us on our guilt, the Punisher will attempt to shoot us, and Captain America is our Uber driver. Plus, in the what if mode, Namor will watch our fight against Carnage. That was a totally accidental segue into what if mode in general, which would lead us neatly into the cheat section, except that I'm not done with the story section. At least I'm not done with the section. See, I tried playing the Gameboy Colour version, developed by Vicarious Visions, and then I gave up and watched StarFoxFan 007 play it, and you know what? Despite the lack of sloth GF, the Game Boy version had the better story. Worse execution, of course, it's on a bloody Game Boy Colour, but the story was better put together. Upon starting the game, we get a few shots of humanoid figures in those sciencey vats that bubble a lot and turn people into monsters. You know the kind. You've seen them in every movie or TV show with just a hint of sci-fi. In one of these shots, a vat stands broken and something has escaped. Press start and we get a still frame of Peter at work, chatting on the phone to May about Mary Jane's birthday. Of course he won't forget her present. MJ is the most important person in his life. Why would he ever forget to buy her a gift? I overplayed that a little, my bad, but you get it. He's gonna forget the present. Anywho, Jonah storms in and is all like, "Parker! There was an explosion at Dr. Connor's laboratory! Go get me pictures!" And that's our inciting incident. We swing, crawl, and smack our way through thugs with knives, thugs with fists, and seagulls. Oh my god, the seagulls. At the laboratory, we spy on cops giving up on the whole missing scientist gig because the lizard is back and he's the main priority. There's a bit of dramatic irony for you. We're surprised by Venom, who's looking worse for wear, and gets taken down so easily that I assumed he was a fake. And even Spidey comments on how odd that was. He escapes though, and so we focus on what's important. Digging into the sewers, we have homeless guys with rocks, lizards hidden in the water, and bats. Oh my god, the bats. Flying enemies in this game are the worst, and the sole reason I quit this otherwise surprisingly fun side-scroller. Side-scrollers aren't really our thing, but we enjoyed it. Combine getting lost above ground or below with these fast-moving, erratic and sharp-beaked bastards slowing you down. It was too much for a game I was playing just to mention it here. Upon beating the snot out of the lizard and bringing back Connors, he tells us that he was set off by the Hobgoblin breaking in to steal some equipment. But the Hobgoblin is hardly a scientist. He's a fashion designer, actually. But either way, we need to hunt him down, and some grateful sewer folk point us towards the docks. This looks like the toughest fight in the game to me, with H-Gobby zipping back and forth across the screen. But once smacked down, he refuses to tell us anything. But he does let slip that he was being paid by someone, so we need to find his patron to find the stolen equipment. What kind of devious master planner could be behind this? Well, here comes Venom. Still a mess, but after knocking some sense into him, we get directed back into the sewers, where Carnage has scared the wits out of our disorientated anti-hero. Still, Carnage? Doing science stuff? Paying people? This isn't his usual MO. Who could have guessed that he was such a master planner? This joke of ours is wasted on casual fans. After a fight through the sewer, wrestling our way through symbiote grunts in the lab, which has a banging song by the way. We wish we could cover it. We reach the final room and find Carnage himself, in a vat, helpless, paying nobody. But this is where Dr. Octavius reveals himself. He had kidnapped Venom and Carnage and was experimenting on them, searching for a way to get himself a snazzy suit that he could control. This makes more sense than the Neversoft story, although it does lack some of the punch of turning New York City into a bed of symbiotes. Actually, writing this, I realised a better story would be if the fog was meant to make the symbiotes placid and obedient, hence why he was able to control Carnage. Anyway, we kick his ass right into a vat. The vat with Carnage in it. Who gets out? Shit. So now we have to fight Carnage, and after him we get a real fight with Monster Arc, who also has a solid design. And then we get to leave off with Spidey chatting to Bruce the Gargoyle, before realising that yes, he had forgotten MJ's present. I genuinely believe that this has a better story at its core. Showing us Otto so early just gives away the twist, which could have been hinted at through other means. Maybe a vague newspaper or some scene dressing or whatever. The foreshadowing also applies to the Game Boy version though, as he really comes out of nowhere. Although, I could argue that from what we know, from what's given to us in the game, Carnage would never be the antagonist, simply because he doesn't go about things so quietly. Spider-Man 2000 is a very simple game to play, but it's the beautiful kind of simplicity. There are basic punch and kick buttons, and what I'm going to call a soft combo system. There's not much to play with here, and attempts at mixing these attacks up, well, look at it this way. Every third press will always be the same kick, no matter if you've punched once, twice, or not at all during this combo. There's an illusion of different combos, which, if we aren't going to get actual combos, I do appreciate for the feeling of variety. Yeah. Later, very much necessary addition. Rather than scour the footage we had to find examples of combos, we decided to re-record some. And while doing so, discovered that there is a couple of extra 2-hit combos that we think they do quite a bit of damage, but not quite the damage of a full 3-hit combo, and yet it's faster, providing a trade-off of speed for power, which, given that some of the bosses can interrupt you, is actually a solid exchange. So we are very, very wrong in saying how little there is. After 25 years, we are still learning more. Plus, you can use either attack button while jumping to dash down and smack them right up.
I gotta get out of here.
You can also walk up to a number of objects and press punch to pick them up, and then punch again to toss it. There is also the option to grab an opponent by pressing either attack button and then triangle, and then press punch to just smush your victim's head, or press kick to yeet them from a rooftop. And finally, there are the web techniques. You should recognise these from the Spider-Man movie game 2002, our very first and most shit video, given that game was supposed to be a PS2 port of this one, and we would kill, skin, and devour someone for that port, if only for the improved fucking camera controls. Web gloves. Reading the manual, technically called web spikes, because they're ostensibly just spiky web dusters. Web cocoon, technically called the web dome, but come on. And impact web. Well, I guess there's also wrapping your victims in an airtight blanket of webbing until they fade from existence. Ah, shit. No. Technically that would be the web cocoon. And finally, for combat, there's the web yank, where you simply pull a guy, giving him head when he gets close, giving him a little smooch. There is the option to swing them in a different direction, but I never quite figured out the timing. Maybe I'm too slow on the buttons. Edit. We're sorry about this. In this case, it wasn't something we discovered while getting footage. It's something we discovered while playing the game and then just forgot to write into the script. But there is this extra web technique where you punch, or kick, followed by web, and you do this cool little overhead maneuver. For traversal, there is very basic web swinging. You get 2 swings and then have to press R2 to swing again. It works well enough, and you probably won't need more than 2 swings unless you are, well, just having fun. If you are sufficiently close to a vertical surface when you press swing, you'll actually zip towards it, which is actually fucking amazing. The amount of times I could just whip. I wrote whip. The amount of times I could just zip to a wall rather than awkwardly starting a swing was a brilliant piece of quality of life. Plus, once you know that's how it works, you can take advantage of it. Then there's the zip line. It's pretty limited, but fun enough when needed. That's not quite it for gameplay though. I mean, sure there are also puzzles, but nothing really complicated enough to deserve the title. The hardest one is the sewer maze, but if you can find him, the imprisoned lizard will give you the exact direction to go. But what I like is what the manual calls power-ups, although only 2 could actually be considered there. You have basic health and web tokens to restore health and web cartridges, something that carried over into the movie tie-in, despite his weird natural web spewers. Okay, here's a bit of off-the-cuff talking. How are those natural web shooters supposed to work? We've given this a lot of thought over the years, and we all know where the web comes from. It comes from the butt. So, why does Peter not only have web shooters in his wrist, but in both wrists? If this was just a weird mutation thing, maybe based on Peter being bitten on his wrist, maybe that could work. It would only be on the one, but he has it in both. Now, we've given this a lot of thought because we're a fucking nerd. Our idea, not a web cannon, but our idea for a potential spider-themed hero with this kind of natural organic webbing is... how to explain? More like it's being produced inside his entire body, and there are various... We don't really want to say sphincters, so let's just say enlarged pores around the body where they can control it and release it. This not only allows for wrist web shooting, but could also be fun as a defensive option, releasing rapidly hardening web anywhere on their body for the sake of defense. And we should probably look this up before we spread it on the internet, but we can't be bothered, so let's just take this with a grain of salt. But we have heard that larger spiders, like tarantulas, will actually release web, or I suppose silk, from their foot pads, fingertips, which allows them to adhere to objects despite their extra weight. And if that is true, then that could be quite a nice addition to this idea of ours. But the actual power-ups are the sick-ass gold Spidey Armor Mark 1, which doubles your total health until you lose that second bar, and the flame webbing, which just lets you set shit on fire. Only symbiotes, unfortunately. We don't get the chance to flame on any normal foes. Although maybe with that model swap we could have some fun with that. If I ever get that working. This flame effect applies to both web cocoons. We can't decide in calling either of them that. maybe that's why the developers didn't either. Blaming web dusters. Fucking fireball spell. And you even get to see the difference when web swinging or web zipping. Minor but super cool details like that can make a game. After that, well, there are various comic books you can pick up during various levels. Get them all to earn the Spider-Man 2099 costume. You can earn all of the costumes in the game without cheats, such as beating Venom to get the Scarlet Spider costume, or beat Kid Mode to get the black suit, or beat Kid Mode twice to get the Spidey Unlimited costume. The only one I haven't earned legitimately was the God Mode costume, Captain Universe. You have to beat the game on hard mode to earn that, and holy shit, fuck that. Not because it's especially hard, although I would have killed for a dodge mechanic, but because of the goddamn camera. And this is why I would adore a remake, remaster, or even just a fucking port with a camera slapped onto R3. At present, the camera turns with you, but you don't exactly turn smoothly, and the camera, it can get jumpy. It's jarring, it swings like the devs thought it was a funny fucking pun, and it's just horrible. Returning to the story elements, as mentioned, the What If mode changes a number of little things. The exact cheat code used to unlock What If mode changes based on the console, as do all of the cheats for some annoying ass reason. But in the same way the What If comics explore possibilities such as Spider-Man joining the Fantastic Four early in his career, if someone else had been bitten by the spider, including Betty Brant and Aunt May, and if we remember correctly, then Flash Thompson, but he dies at the end, we think. And to show that this isn't a Spider-Man specific phenomenon, what if the Avengers had never formed? Using this code will change certain things during the campaign. For example, upon starting a new game with the code enabled, another cameo, Uatu the Watcher, will pause events to say hello and explain that things may be a little different. During the bank heist, you can find a certain panel on the ground, which lets you watch Spidey bust a move, but you likely know about this one already, so how about in the underwater base, you can race a submarine in order to earn a cheat code. Once you find the captured Black Cat, she's unable to stop dancing in her cell, and the final and the final fight against Ock is certainly something. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff that I'm happy to let you discover for yourself, but I will mention this last one as I only learned about it while doing research for this video. If you just don't do anything, eventually Peter will hang upside down and either start to sing to himself or fall asleep. Love it. And of course, the cheat codes. It wouldn't be a classic PS1 game without some classic cheats. Pulsating head.
Peter Parker's alter ego, the amazing
Stickman.
Peter Parker's alter ego, the amazing
Replace Jameson with the game's executive producer, Joel Jewett. Naturally, you can also unlock everything, such as a variety of costumes with unique attributes, such as unlimited webbing, turning invisible, become a fucking god. You can also unlock various extras such as storyboards, the cutscene viewer, and character profiles, etc. You can also unlock all of these through playing the game, but just fuck playing it on hard mode just to get the god costume. Naturally though, the one costume I really want to cheat for doesn't have one. I adore the spider armor, called Mark 1 in the Insomniac games, and always have. But the best the game provides is wearing the Captain Universe costume, or the invincibility cheat, but we never actually tested that out. And play your way through to the first armor token and try not to fall off an edge and lose it, or be unable to progress a glitched level and so have to go to the menu select for the next mission and lose the armor. But in God mode, with the armor, then it becomes permanent for the rest of the game. But you're also unkillable, so that's fun. In a remake, I'd like that to be an unlockable. Maybe with tokens topping up the durability during missions, although I'd honestly be happy with the cosmetic and 0 extras. Without the armor, there are 10 costumes to unlock in the game. And with that, I think I've covered the gameplay. I think. Oh, yeah, there are also training modes. I've never really played them a whole lot, but I do appreciate them being there because the games that do need them never have them. Spider Movies 2 and 3, we're talking to you. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to talk about this without major bias. I love these quaint-ass visuals. I adore these goddamn adorable graphics. Every time I argue against photorealistic graphics, these are what I imagine. The fused fingers holding objects, the twisted ugly faces of the thugs, the beady little eyes of the lizards, and the squishy cute little symbiotes. You can bond with us, little babies. Don't be scared. And nothing is as quintessentially anything as this Venom is quintessentially Venom to me. The restless tendrils writhing around the bulky figure, the way even his eyes aren't free from reaching out like a snail's cute-ass eye things. When I drew Venom, bored in my middle school lessons, it was this version I drew. This was my black cat growing up. Hardly attractive, she'll forever be my sloth. Damn. Even for her, I can't be cringe enough to call anything my waifu. That was a legitimate shiver of just pure cringe. Oh, I hate that word. This was all the PlayStation 1 version, by the way. The Dreamcast and PC versions had quite a visual upgrade. Venom and Carnage look more as they should, although our bias struggles to accept them as better. And the character models are just, frankly, cleaner. People look better. Felicia has a mask this time round, which honestly makes me wonder why she didn't on the PlayStation. I also think that this version looks like Katie Cassidy, who I only know from the Arrow series as Laurel Lance. This isn't the last time I'll mention a Felicia Hardy looking like an actor. Just wait until we get around to Spider-Man 2 2023. But the one thing that is truly unfortunate about this version of the game is those fingies. Ugh. Disgusting. Gross. Ugh. What were they thinking? Fused digits of all fists are way better than those abominations. And while I accept that the PC and Dreamcast versions are objectively better, my heart refuses to accept that. The sound effects are, as I always say, fine. They never broke immersion for good or bad reasons, although the dying scream of a symbiote always stuck with me for some reason. And of course there's the horrible sound effect of the rhino plunging into Felicia's back. Ugh. The voice talent are fucking fantastic. Not a single character sounds wrong, and a few reprised their roles from a 1994 animated series, such as Not Spidey. He didn't return for this, but I guess I don't mind as I love both actors. And it's definitely cool that Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., that rolled off my tongue surprisingly well, returns as Dr. Octopus. Guess I should mention that Jennifer Hale returns as Felicia, but what isn't Miss Hale in? She's incredible. And the music was composed by Tommy Tallarico, possibly the most mafia name to appear in music. And Howard Juliet. I am down bad for the music, but, well, only really while playing the game. I do love the music and I can listen to it outside of the game, but it is definitely music made for a purpose. Still, there are some great riffs, such as Spider-Man vs. Monster Arc. Misleading title much? Or the slow, ominous vibe of the final Venom fight. And Tunnel Crawl has a slapping bass riff. Not slap bass, just slapping. Banging, if you will. Now, I'm not much good at this, but IMDb explains that the soundtrack was influenced by industrial rock and nu metal. And I can't help but feel, as I watch more and more retrospectives, and do my own, that industrial is a really popular genre for music in video games. Not complaining, mind you, I'm totally down for that. Oh, and I forgot about this earlier, but I can't be bothered to slip it in somewhere more appropriate, and maybe have to restructure the entire section, so I'm dropping it here. The PC version of the Captain Universe costume is actually amazing. On the PlayStation, it's a black surface with lots of little white dots. On the PC, it almost looks like the costume is the universe, glittering with starlight, and I actually love it. God, I love this game. I was extremely brief in the gameplay, but it is really fun, and is a game you can just breeze through in a few hours, or kill time in the various training modes. You can watch the cutscenes or scroll through their storyboards, take a gander at the various character profiles, or a list of real comic book covers with a brief synopsis for each. There's hours of fun in this game, and way more charm than that. As mentioned, I did take a gander at the Gameboy Colour port, but fuck doing a more thorough inspection, and fuck all those birds. And especially fuck the cheat code that turns every enemy into a bird. I'll link the video I watched in the description. I'll also link SolidSnake11, Anganoff, and SwimReadsComics as the first to spend way too much time with these games looking at mods, deleted content and such. And Swim Team has a few good videos that summarize these various things. This section is mostly going to cover the awesome modding scene for Spider-Man PC. But before that, I'm going to cover the Kellogg's movie tie-in demo disc. Kellogg's had this whole competition thing, you know the sort, trying to get you to buy more of their stuff than you normally would, and the reward was a demo disc for the upcoming Spider-Man 2002 movie game. Except it wasn't. And it was! It was basically just this game up till the Rhino fight, but with a new costume from the movie. And given the game was basically a port anyway, it kinda works. Why did it cut off so early though? Maybe they didn't want to imply that Doc was the movie villain? Maybe it's because the game was probably only out about a year by this point, and giving away free versions of the game was a bit dodgy? I don't know, but it was a shame. Not like a big shame, but a little shame at least.
When a building
Plus,
is close
the
enough,
cutscenes were left unaltered, so that's sort of a con as well. Like, technically it's a free game, but you did have to buy stuff you didn't need to get it, so... I wonder if anyone hacked it to get access to the whole game. I mean, I couldn't find anything on that, so maybe not. Anyway, the game is still pretty popular for modding today, although it seems largely limited to costumes, which is a shame. I mean, sure, the quick change Spidey costume is better without the black suit. We get that the quick change Spidey costume was from a certain comic book, like stripped from the comic books. But we were really confused as a kid because we were too stupid to put together that it was the black costume. And so we were like, what? Do the devs just think Spidey has an undermask and an overmask and the undermask is black? What? We weren't the brightest of kids. But I bet there's a lot that could be done with the game by somebody who knows what they're doing. I wish I could show you more of these mods, but I had a hard enough time getting the PC version to just run. And modding didn't work out. Another interesting tidbit is that those adorable little purple guys trying to take over the world, well, modders have dug up a creepier prototype that was rejected, presumably to avoid scaring kids, given the trauma caused by Monster Arc. It took us decades to finally face that fucker head on. And by head on, we mean running like a little bitch, but we did it. Another rejected idea was the all-green Scorpion design, like his original appearance in the comics. I believed they swapped it out for his more contemporary design, not because it was modern, but because all of the green actually made his movements harder to read, so they switched it up for the sake of the player. The Rhino fight also looked like it would be quite different, possibly with more to it. And all of this cut content really makes me wish even fucking harder for a remake, but with this cut content available, like in-game. It's a shame that games don't, or more likely, can't, include things like this for fans to check out, just because it's cool. I think I need a little practice slipping character profiles into the story section. So I'm going to mention a few of my relevant comic book bits and pieces here. The Scorpion wasn't originally that bad of a guy, but the Scorpion DNA started turning him aggressive and feral. And the scientist who created him, Dr. Foswell, died by falling off of a building, so desperate to cure Gargan that he tried to follow him up a wall. Like, the dude was climbing up a fucking skyscraper with the antidote in hand, and he falls off. The Rhino was originally a major dumbass, becoming the Rhino purely because his criminal buddies told him to. Alexei Sistovich was chosen precisely because he was so dumb that he'd always do exactly as he was told. But, the experiments that gave him his powers also heightened his intelligence. Not by much, mind you, but enough to give him a rebellious streak. It's a shame I won't get many chances to talk about the Hobgoblin, because I've always loved him. From when he was voiced by Mark Hamill in the '94 cartoon, or the editorial mess that was his story in the comics. Fashion designer, then fashion designer's twin brother, then Ned Leeds. Oh boy, that was a lot. And there's actually some really interesting videos covering the editorial hell that caused it all, but we think it actually made a really fun story. I just want to see more of him, but not that Ultimate Universe abomination. Like, no, we can't get started. This isn't in the script, we can't talk about it, but we can't help but hate it. The Goblin was intelligent and cunning and had all these gadgets, and that was what made him amazing. And the Ultimate Universe just turns him and the Hobgoblin into brute force monstrosities. And it's so bad. It's so bad. Why? I mean, I will probably get the chance to in Shattered Dimensions, because there's a future version of him there. He was in the Game Boy Color port of this game. As far as I can tell, off the top of my head, those are the only games to include the Hobgoblin, and I don't get why he never shows up. While I'm sure there's more I could say about the other characters, these were purely off of the top of my head, and I can't really be bothered to look into more. This is supposed to be a quick video while I struggle with the video I should be working on. I will mention one glitch though, as it's kind of infamous and kind of game fucky. I assume it's related to the heightened frame rate of modern computers, but in certain cutscenes, the game will kill you. The game will break reality and murder you. In the first one, as you hop into Jameson's office to protect him from the Scorpion, Spidey breaks through the window and falls through the floor to his death. In one of the multiple Escape the Police missions, the game takes control from you as Spidey falls from the sky and he's supposed to swing to a building. But on PC, I think he speeds past the trigger and can't start and complete the animation in time, so he just dies. There are occasionally other smaller softlocks, such as getting stuck on a ceiling light during a scripted jump, but only if you come in from the wrong angle. I don't have much for this section, mainly because I wasn't playing the game to make a video yet. It just kinda happened while I was feeling extremely overwhelmed by my main project, so I wasn't thinking about stories. I did have one idea while I was writing this, which was the whole Venom is an alternative personality for Brock, manifesting during moments of danger. Physical or emotional, as the body doesn't differentiate, and the brain is part of the body, so it doesn't know any better. I might work on this idea. I'm not sure what to write for my main project, the one I'm struggling with, but as is becoming a common theme with me, it would be a long story. And I'd want to research DID to make sure that I'm being sympathetic and accurate enough. So that's quite a bit of extra time. Plus, I'm moving to another city soon and a bunch of other stuff, so I guess we'll see. As of recording this, we actually have moved to another city, and it's been chaotic. Like, we haven't been able to sleep, we injured our knee somehow, and we lost our incredibly vital medication during the journey. The room's tiny. We don't know if the last few sections have been echoing, because we need to get used to the new acoustics of this tiny room. We will find out. So, it's been crazy. Crazy. Nothing important here, but I would gladly take advice on playing old PC games on modern software. This isn't the first time I've had trouble with this. I've spent far too long troubleshooting various abandonware and their mods, or simply trying to get the damn thing running. I've looked into virtual machines, but couldn't get the programs I'm trying to play onto said virtual machines, so I couldn't run or mod the games properly without the virtual machines. Like, I'm eager to mod this game just to change the quick change Spidey costume, because as a kid, as mentioned, I never cottoned onto the fact that it was the black suit, and it always bothered me that the mask was wrong. I know better now, but that autistic, it's wrong, doesn't go away so easily, and we would get great catharsis out of playing the game in this costume we never fucking used, but how we feel it should be. I do wonder if it's because of my PC, like maybe the parts I bought don't work well together or something, and given emulators that barely function on it happen to work just fine on my laptop, but whatever. Any advice would be great, but I'm in no rush to sort that out. I do have a bunch of stuff to sort out. Life is going to be stressful for the next year, as I'm kind of pushing my luck in life. but I'm so horribly stressed out and horrendously depressed that this risk, moving to another city, is the only chance that I have. I won't get too grim, but let's just say that if I fail myself this next year, I may choose not to have another. This isn't a request for money either. Like we even have any viewers to donate in the first place. Given I don't want to make this channel my job, it's just, well, my channel might be a mess for a while. And even though this is a hobby, we have our own Wow, I went slipped into 8 then. I have my own criteria for how I want to do this. If you have criticism about my video, something you don't like, something I could do better, let me know. Yes, that's right, I'm asking for trolls. Criticism is how creatives get better, but please be clever about it. If you are too obvious in your trolling, I'll do the opposite. Be clever and trick me. Try it.